Hello everyone, welcome and thanks for stopping by today. I have some custom bookmarks with tassels to share with you using some Lawn Fawn products. So I created these 4 bookmarks for the 4 books that I picked up recently that I would like to get to this year. Hopefully this summer I will be able to at least get through a couple of them. So let's go over some of the crafty supplies that I will use. Starting with the Bookmark Duo from MFT, the Sunny Studio Fluffy Cloud dies, the Bookworm stamp set from Mama Elephant along with the coordinating dies that go with the set, the Don't Worry Be Hoppy set from Lawn Fawn, and I'll be using the coordinating dies, as well as the Slow Down and Enjoy stamp set along with the coordinating dies and the bookmark add-ons. I used the little heart from the small Slimline with Lift the Flap dies from Lawn Fawn. For the pattern paper, I used the Perfectly Plaid rainbows, the Really Rainbow Scallops, and the Hello Sunshine remix, all from Lawn Fawn. I also used the chunky glitter from Lawn Fawn and some twine from my stash for the bookmarks. Alright, so let's get started. I wanted to do a partial die cut of the bookmarks. The bookmarks are really small and they're really not functional for me, so I wanted to make them longer. So I can achieve that by doing a partial die cut. So I'm going to put my mini cutting plate right above that cut line at the bottom so that it cuts only up to that point. So I'm going to set that up exactly where I want it and run it through my die cutting machine. So when it comes out, you can see that it's cut at the top but not at the bottom. So now I can go ahead and scooch the die down to make it longer, and I want to make sure that when I cut below the little arms because that will cut and I don't want to have those in my bookmark. So I'm going to go ahead and place my cutting pad below those little arms so that it can only cut where the plate is at. So once I did that, you can see now the bookmarks are longer and this is much more doable or much more what I want. So once again, look at the difference between the original size and then once you do the die cut, the longer one. I stamped the images out and I'm using the Clean Color Real Brush markers again to color the little images. And again, I just think these are so fun to use. It's no stress. You don't need a bunch of colors. As you can see, I think I used about 7 colors to color all of the images. And so to me, this is just fun. Even though I've used Copics much longer and I feel okay using them, but I have to think about it a lot more when I'm coloring with Copics. Whereas I feel like when I'm using the Zig markers, it's just more relaxing for sure. So there I am finishing up the little sloth. And again, I feel like the best combination for using these markers are the Bristol paper and the Zig blender brush. I think you get really fantastic results with not a lot of effort. Alright, so I've got these and I'm going in with a second coat just to make it a little bit darker. And then at the end, I forgot about those little dots on his back, so I get those at the end. And here are the markers that I used. Just these. Okay, so now I'm ready to die cut them out with the coordinating dies. And here they are. I also colored and die cut the books from the Mama Elephant set. I die cut the background, the borders, the bookmark borders, and then I also die cut a panel out of vellum for the ones that I don't have the coordinating bookmark one. I am gluing down the little books on between the hands or the little paws or whatever of the little critters so it looks like they're reading the books. And for the little rabbit, he's kind of just carrying it under one paw like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach them to the coordinating bookmark for each one of them. For these that I cut the middle out of vellum, I want to make sure that I leave space at the top so that I can punch the hole later on. So I did that for the frog and for the bunny. Now for the pattern papers that were single-sided, I went ahead and adhered them together. So I did that for that bookmark. That one was already double-sided, and so is that. So just to finish up with the last one. So all of them are double-sided. Next, I picked out what sentiment I wanted for each one, and to be honest, it was not that easy because the sentiments in these sets are so cute, but I did manage to pick 4. So I'll never forget your spot for the elephant. This is where I fell asleep for the sloth. I will totally save your spot for the froggy, and some bunny loves books. So I went ahead and die cut some hearts and clouds for the bottom to kind of hold the bottom of it onto the bookmark base. Now I stole the little cloud from the little sloth because I really liked having 2 clouds for the frog one, but I'll give the sloth his own cloud in a moment. So I adhered all these pieces down, and there was just a teensy bit from the bottom of the heart of the bookmark, so I just trimmed that off, and I will do that later on with the purple heart. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere that second cloud, and I really liked having those 2 little clouds there. So here I bring in another cloud, and it's a different type of cloud, so I think that's even better. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue just where those 2 pieces are, because this is vellum, so it's see-through. I'm going to press that down and bring in my paperweight to hold that down while I trim off the bottom, switch to the bottom of that, and then go ahead and glue down the bunny, place it where I want it, and then take the paperweight and switch, and then hold that down, switch to the bottom, and then go ahead and add adhesive to the little sloth. And since this is all cardstock, then he gets glue on the whole thing, and then work my way to the last one of the little elephant. Right, so now I'm going to work on the backs and putting their little bums on the back. So very simply, I adhered the little bum on the back. I kind of wanted to make sure it was in the same spot, and then worked my way to the last one. Putting the paperweight to make sure to get a good press down on that. Okay, now I'm going to make the little pockets so that it will serve 2 purposes. One, it will protect the bookmark so it'll last longer, and then 2, I want to add some glitter just to make it fun. I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool, and the bookmark die is kind of a template to know where to make the pockets or where to fuse. So there's one, so I'm going to move the die to the other side so that I only have to fuse one side since one side is already fused. So I'm going to take, and now the key is to roll slowly. You want to be slow and steady. So that looks good, and so now I'm going to put my die in the middle, and since it is in the middle, that means that I will need to use the fuse tool on both sides, so on the right and on the left. So I'm going to take and run my fuse tool along the edge of that die, and you want to be careful because it's very hot. And then I am done with those 3. So I'm going to move it to make the fourth one, and like the rest. So now I can go ahead and slide the bookmark into the little pockets like so, and then bring in the chunky glitter. So I use a little glitter spoon to go ahead and scoop in just a tiny bit of glitter. I don't want it to be full of glitter because I don't want it to be extra bulky, but I do want it to be extra flashy. So I am using that glitter, and of course I spilled, as I always do, but I do have my little ladybug vacuum to help me out. I don't know what I would do without it. And then I took the top of it to seal it, and again used it as a template to seal with the We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool. And I trimmed off the excess. Now I'm ready to go ahead and make the holes in the top. I have these heart eyelets from my stash from like eons ago, but they were perfect for this, so I went ahead and set them into the bookmarks. So I did that for all of them. Now they're ready and ready for the tassels. So here's a quick step-by-step of how to make tassels if you don't know. So you can use any kind of thread that you like. So there's crochet thread here, there's yarn, there's twine, embroidery floss, so all of these will work. Anything you have will work. I make tassels for pretty much 3 things: bookmarks, cards, and for gift bags. So I have these little templates that I've created for myself. Now, all I did was take a 4 3/4 squared cardstock and fold it in half, and that gives me the right size for the tassel that I want. Now, starting on the open side, you want to start on that open side and place your twine or thread, whatever, and you want to wind on this little template. Now, you don't want to wind super tight, and you don't want to wind it all loosey-goosey. Just, just a normal tension. And you want to wrap it anywhere from 15 to 20 times, I find, is enough. Now you want to end at the open end of your template again, and that's where you want to trim the excess. So you want to start at the open end and end on the open end. Now I find about 18 inches is just the right size for me, so I trim off 18 inches of this twine, and I'm going to put the ends together. I'm going to take the loop end and kind of thread it underneath all of those strings and move up to the top where the folded edge is at. And this is going to create 2 parts. So it's going to create the dangly loopy part that hangs off the bookmark, and then the rest of it will form the regular, body of the bookmark. So once I have it where I want it, I go ahead and make a nice tight knot, and I like to make sure I'm right at the center at the top so I have less waste when I go to cut. And then I always do a double knot to make sure that it's on there nice and tight and secure. So like I said, these will hang and be part of the tassel, and then you have the hanging part at the top. So now you're going to stick your scissors through the middle and cut to release the tassel. So there you have your tassel body, and then the little part that's going to hang at the top. Almost done here. So now you're going to take another piece to create the kind of head of the tassel. I find about 8 inches is enough for me also. I lay it across the center. I take the 2 ends, and when I have it where I like it, then I go ahead and make a knot and make it nice and tight. So to secure this, I go ahead and make a double knot. So I knot it again one more time, and that will secure that knot. I go ahead and wrap it a couple of times on each side of the thread. like so, so that I end up on the other side of where I made that first knot. I hope that makes sense. Just so that the knots don't end up all on the same side. So I go ahead and make sure that that's a tight knot, and then I do another double knot, nice and tight. So now those two will become part of the tassel body, and then I can go ahead and trim off any excess to, make it nice and clean. So as you can see, there's very little waste, and that's why I kind of am a little bit more methodical about this. I don't like to be wasteful, really. So there it is. You have the tassel done. Now, if you want to hide the little knot at the top, if that bothers you, I like to put these little pony beads on the top to hide it. You can use little wood beads or more elegant ones if you want, but these little beads from the kids craft section at your craft store work just fine for me. I like these two because one of them is clear and the other one has these really, really pretty like mermaid like pearls. And I pulled out a little white one. Now I like these because they have like an iridescent sheen to them. So I take a glue dot, and I'm sorry I was off the camera there, but you just take a glue dot and put it where you have the knot. Then you thread your twine through the hole and then bring it down, and then just arrange it till you have it right where you want it. And as you can see, even though I shake it, the little bead does not move. So it's kind of stuck there with the help of the glue dot. And now you can kind of arrange it, and there you go. You have your tassel done and ready to add to your bookmark. So let's go from there. So I'm adding my beads, securing it with the glue dot. I'm going to thread it through the front. I'm going to open it up and just slide the rest of it through. And voila, you have the bookmark done. So here are the 4 bookmarks with their tassels. Now on the frog one, I added 2 little beads, a blue and a green. And there they are. Aren't they cute? I just really loved how these turned out. I'll never forget your spot for the elephant. I will totally save your page for the frog. Some bunny loves books for the bunny, and this is where I fell asleep for the little sloth and their bums, of course. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I know this video was a little bit longer than most of mine, but stay safe and enjoy a lovely crafternoon. And if you would like to see more, then here are a couple more for you. Thanks. Until next time. Bye.